What's going on, everyone? Today was the single biggest day in stock market history as Nvidia added over $247 billion to its market cap in one day. On top of that, 73% of stocks in the S&P 500 were in the green today, and then the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, and the Dow Jones all closed at record highs. To say this market is going ballistic would be an understatement, and if you've been crushing it lately, then keep on rolling. But even if you haven't, stick around with us to the end of today's video. We have a lot of great information to cover and some great setups for tomorrow. But Tom, this market is going insane, so let's get right into it.
Yeah, it was awesome. The SPY made new all-time highs again this morning. I know that yesterday we talked about the SPY getting very close to that all-time high, and when we opened up in pre-market, the SPY actually started moving up above there, and then when the market really opened, it ran all the way up to 508 plus. That was a pretty big move on the S&P 500 there. Same thing with the QQQ. Great move to the upside, and Mike, it was just a green day in general. You can go look at Apple, Microsoft, so many of these stocks had good jumps to the upside today, and guess which ones moved the most, right? Nvidia up 16%, and SMCI was up 32%. I saw someone in Discord earlier said that, the CEO of SMCI needs to send Nvidia a love letter, and that one had me laughing. But yeah, I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on these two big stocks, Mike. Like you said, Nvidia had the biggest day in stock market history, just beating out Meta, who also just had the biggest day, posted from February 2nd?
Exactly. So let's look at this. So I thought we were just having this conversation a couple weeks ago with Meta, and clearly we were, but Meta broke some records on February 2nd as they popped up by like $200 billion in a single day. Nvidia was like, give me a couple weeks, and just crushed that record. And while everyone's hearing about Nvidia, and while some people are probably about to have steak dinner tonight, others are probably getting a little bit annoyed, saying, can you guys just talk about something else, please, for a second? But the problem is that Nvidia is getting to a point where it's so powerful and it's moving so much that it is literally like controlling the market. So looking at this chart right here, over the past 6 months, Nvidia has popped up by 2% or more on 29 trading days. On 25 of those 29 trading days, the market also popped up. So like when Nvidia goes up, it basically drags everything else up with it, right? So like Nvidia is kind of like leading the way right now. So whether you like Nvidia or you hate it, you have to watch it because it's running the show.
It really is, and they are the big player on the block right now, and they've been kind of stealing the spotlight from everything else for the past year to 2 years. If we go back all the way to those lows from 2022, I mean, this stock has been nothing but a rocket ship, right? Like, you can look at things like SMCI and etc., but they don't have the weighting to the overall market that Nvidia has, and to see it from that low to where it is now, it's up over like 600%. That is one hell of a run. It is one of the craziest stocks that I have seen since like Tesla went on its run, that COVID run, right? Everybody seemed like they were winning. They were going long Tesla options, having great profits. And I feel like the same thing's happening now with Nvidia. It just has that euphoricness to it, and it just keeps going higher and higher. We all know that it's kind of overextended, but at the same time, it keeps going up and providing those great opportunities. Today might have been one of the best days I think I've ever seen in Discord for profits in the Profits channel.
Yeah, and we'll run through that in just a second. But while we're still on Nvidia, I want to talk about it a little bit more because it's moving in such a crazy way, and it's all a game of momentum at this point. It's like, even though Nvidia has been up so much over the past couple months, there's nothing wrong with riding that momentum in the short term to the upside or the downside. A prime example I have of this is SMCI over the past 2 weeks. You look at that stock and it is the definition of volatile, but that is a good thing if you're into short-term trading. On good days, just ride that momentum higher. And on bad days, be willing to adapt quickly. Don't get, emotional with the trade and just follow the momentum at the time. I think that's the most important thing to do, not only with Nvidia right now, but a lot of other stocks, because we're seeing a lot of volatility, which is great. And as long as you're willing to adapt, then there's opportunity all day long.
Yeah, and just keep that risk tolerance tight. Some of these breakout trades, they're they've been really consistent lately, right? Just be ready, always have that, I would say, stop loss in place just in case the trade does go against you. But like, we can go to SMCI today, go intraday. You could see a pretty solid resistance point here right around the $890 to $900 mark. And once it started really breaking that high of day, it blasted off, right? Good opportunities there to the upside. Tomorrow, we might see the exact opposite, right? SMCI might hit a big resistance up here right around $1,000 even, which is actually where it hit end of day. So we have to be careful of like a rejection there. And there's some great levels and some great stocks that we're going to be going over later in the video with our plays that will, I think, what would I say, Mike? They'll have some great opportunities to them, right? Some of these plays lately have been awesome, and I know a lot of people have been banking off of them as well.
You know it. So while NVIDIA was definitely the star of the show for earnings this week, there, believe it or not, were actually other companies that reported earnings too, right? You just probably didn't hear about them. But Moderna reported before open today, and they had a pretty positive reaction. We're going to talk more about that stock in just a minute. But a lot of people are looking at Square right now, which is ticker symbol SQ. And this stock is moving to the upside in a pretty good way as well, as they also reported a surprise profit. So keep a close eye on this one going into tomorrow, because historically when it moves, it tends to go on a nice run.
Yeah, and Square is one of those stocks that also influences other stocks in the market too. I noticed PayPal in after hours was following Square down at first. Now it's actually going back up. So maybe watch for some of those growth stocks that are, down around lows right now. As Square starts to rise, you might start to see other stocks like PayPal start to follow up with it. And it's just good to see more green, right? That might keep up this good momentum into tomorrow. Definitely a lot better than going red.
Yep. All right, well, let's get into the fun stuff for today, Tom, which are some setups for tomorrow. A stock I'm watching very closely right now is Moderna. And like I said, this company reported earnings this morning. They also had a surprise quarterly profit. And, we just saw some good inflows into this stock today. It held up in a very strong way. And I am looking at this stock for a potential earnings continuation to the upside. I would love to see a break above that $102 level, just with some nice price action, just like we saw today. And overall, I'll have some close eyes on it, because I also really liked how much volume flowed into this one today.
Yeah, I really like that high of day there. If it breaks that tomorrow, it'll be an awesome setup. And with my first play, I'm going with Microsoft here. I noticed end of day today, they ended up getting right to that high that they were right at open. If we can break that tomorrow around 413, I'm going to continue to look at good momentum. But of course, like always, I'm going to be adaptable. If the market ends up like running down or something tomorrow morning, then I'll have to look at a play down. But overall, I think the market's pretty strong right now, and it'll probably continue to the upside tomorrow with this euphoricness that's going on.
Good stuff. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely is Alibaba. So these China stocks have been all over the place, and they've been holding up really good over the past couple of weeks. And as we've been saying, the Chinese government is doing just about everything it can to somehow, some way, get its stocks to trend in the right direction. Recently, believe it or not, they came out with some new restrictions that prohibits major institutional investors from selling their stock basically around open and close. Imagine if that happened in the U.S. market. At the same time, they put on some new restrictions with quant firms, and they are also creating a task force to track who is shorting the market and I guess you could say nicely warned people not to do that. So either way, they're trying everything they possibly can to get their market to rise, and it is working, at least in the short term. So I will watch BABA to the upside for tomorrow, but at the end of the day, with a stock like this, I want to see good price action and good momentum. I want to see people actually buying into the stock and a true imbalance of supply and demand. So this stock is going to be all about price action. I would love the stock to be above that $76.60 area, and I just want to see strong, big green candles, and that would kind of give me the idea that all right, people are actually rushing into this one, especially if there was good volume, and that's where the opportunity would be. So I'm going to be watching it closely.
Yeah, almost kind of like we saw on Wednesday. It gapped up a little bit and then had that great continuation it opened with tons of green candles. I'll definitely keep my eyes on the lookout for a breakout with this one coming tomorrow. But Mike, with my next setup, I'm going with a bit of a weird one, so bear with me here. It's DWAC. This stock is kind of like we've been saying with NVIDIA, the definition of volatile, right? It's starting to uptrend again today. Had a pretty good move, up 8%. The average move is 3.7%, which is pretty big. So I'll just be watching this one for continued momentum tomorrow. It's a bit of a wild card, and that's why I wanted to mention it today, because it has some pretty big moves whenever it does go on runs, and if it can continue tomorrow, that would make for a pretty good trade. So keep your eyes on DWAC. It's extremely volatile. And for anyone who doesn't know, this is like the Truth Social stock.
Alrighty, sounds good. Well, it's now about that time for the momentum plays. And with the first one, we have Meta to the upside, which had a pretty good day today.
Yeah, that was awesome. And they hit a high right around 490. So if they can break above that, then go ahead and look at calls.
All right, with the next one, we have Starbucks also to the upside.
S-Bucks. Yeah, these value stocks have been doing pretty good lately, too. If they can break above $96.10, then eye up the calls there.
Sounds good. And with the last one, we have the 2020 version of NVIDIA, which is Tesla. And basically for Tesla, we are looking at both levels for this one, Tom.
Man, all the stocks in the market did good today, and like Tesla is just chopping around the past couple days. I guess it was green, though. I got to give it that. But only like 1.3%, not even hitting its average rise. I don't know what's been up with them lately. But if they can break above $200 even, then go ahead and look at calls. That could be a good breakout play. And if the market stays hot, I would think Tesla could go green. At the same time, there's been big support down here around 191 to 192. So if we're able to get under that 191 level, then go ahead and look at puts. But I'll be real with you, Mike. With the way the market's moving here, we might just have to play some calls above 200 tomorrow.
We shall see. But yeah, we have the upside level on Tesla for calls. We have the downside level for puts. Don't forget about the upside levels with Starbucks and Meta as well. These three stocks are on watch for potential day trades tomorrow. Basically, we want to see strong breakthroughs of the levels Tom listed and then continuations in those directions. So keep a close eye on these three stocks. But Tom, today was way too explosive of a day to not give a very special shout out to today's member of the day, Magic Maker in the Stocked Up trading floor. He hit it out of the park with these semiconductor stocks today. So huge shout out to you and great work. He said today was a whirlwind, was ready to tap out after a rough Tuesday and Wednesday, but stuck with it. Feeling grateful and appreciate all the members of the community. You guys rock. So awesome job, Magic Maker. I have a feeling the next couple months are going to be even better. And even looking throughout the rest of the Profits channel, it was just a crazy, crazy day. I mean, it was, Tom, this has to be one of the most explosive days in months.
It really does. I mean, I don't think that we've seen this many big profits in one given day, right? I'll say this, NVIDIA must have made a lot of people happy today, right? And that's to say the least. I mean, man, Magic Maker, I'm not sure that we've ever had a gain that big on an option that expires so soon like that. So great job on that play with NVIDIA. Man, that's awesome to see. And hey, keep up the great work. I know that you've been posting a lot, and I love that profile picture too.
Yeah, right. There we go. Come join us in the Stocked Up trading floor. It'll be that first link in the description and the comments down below. But Tom, we can't move on without hitting on today's big money trade of the day. And while this stock is not as exciting as NVIDIA or anything like that, it's still pretty interesting, and that is Ford, right? So basically today we had the big money dump around $480,000 into the Ford $12.82 strike call options that expire on May 15th of 2024. Ford has been consolidating at this $12 area for like literally 2 years now, and it's holding up just fine. These call options are slightly out of the money, and they do have some time to them, so the setup's definitely not bad. And looking at the stock, Ford kind of does whatever it wants, and again, it has been consolidating at this level for a while, so if we could see Ford hold this $12 area, bounce off of it strongly and then break through that $13 level, that can make for a pretty good move, but we'll see if it can actually break.
Yeah, that's the big question, right? Will it break out? And I know that Ford and General Motors and a lot of these, I guess you would say, what would I say, traditional car companies, right? Everybody keeps having their eyes on stuff like Tesla, Rivian, Lucid. I feel like Ford and like GM have been kind of flying under the radar lately. They've been starting to recover up pretty well. I know GM has been having a pretty good recovery on some good EV news, and I know that Ford's CEO has been coming out quite a bit, talking about their future and everything too. So hopefully we do see Ford start to come up. And one thing that I really like here in the short term is that they just had a decent dip from 13 back down to like this $12 point. If we continue to see like this nice stair-stepping pattern continue to play out, it'll probably start to, get back up to 13 and start to break there, like you said, Mike. So I'll keep it on the radar. I like the technical setup, and it's even like above a trend line that it was filing down for a while too. So good to see it breaking out there.
Sounds great. I'll have to keep a close eye on this one. And a side note is that if you guys are new to the channel, demolish that subscribe button. Come join the Stocked Up crew. Every single day we talk about important and relevant stock market information. We go over earnings, important events to know. We cover setups and big money trades in every single video. So if you want to see our videos recommended to you more often, subscribe and join the Stocked Up crew. But besides that, Tom, the market is very volatile right now. And as a short-term trader, that is all you can ask for. Going into tomorrow and even next week, be adaptable, ride that momentum, and let's keep crushing it.
Yeah, let's go. This has been amazing the past few days and even the past, I'd say, like 3 months, right? Since the beginning of the year, we've seen nothing but just straight upside movement out of a lot of these stocks. So let's go, guys. It's awesome to see the train continuing. I'll say this, Mike, I was kind of hoping NVIDIA would fall down, but with the way it moved up and with all the amazing momentum behind it, this ended up being an even better move, which I didn't even think was possible, right? Given everything we saw. But hey, whenever you have 265% year-over-year revenue growth, it makes for one hell of an exciting move.
Clearly, right? Seriously. When the stock pops up by $250 billion in a day, I think it's hard to disagree with that. But yeah, craziness is here. It's a great thing. Come join us in the Stocked Up trading floor. And besides that, let's end the week on a green note.